Wednesday, August 21st, 1:46 p.m. New York time. Welcome to Winning Wall Street's Money. If you want to get access to this video the same day, it's posted on my Patreon page on the link below. Otherwise, just sit and wait until I publish it on YouTube. We are hitting some new highs in the stock market. If you want to get access besides the stock indexes, so stock indexes are well known. But if you want to do equal or better, have a chance for equal or better, you could invest in the stock sectors, not single stocks, stock indexes, stock sectors. Less research, less babysitting, lower risk than a single stock because they're diversified. So first I'll go over the indexes, compare those compared to the sectors. Going to be a 5-year chart. Each candle's a week. Most popular stock index, the S&P 500. Here's the low, the bottom left for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. We're in a bullish market. Well, here's this week's high, much closer to the all-time high. Outstanding. In the S&P 500, there are several stock indexes. I'll get to those in a moment. Also in the S&P 500, there are things referred to as sectors and industries. Well, the S&P 500 has 11 sectors, and each of those sectors have industries, but we're not going to industries. I'm talking about the sectors. Diversification. This is the NASDAQ 100. It's a stock index referred to as technology. NASDAQ 100 is part of the S&P 500. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Yep, we're in a bullish market. Here's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, one of the oldest, not the, but one of the oldest stock indexes, currently having 30 companies. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Bullish market. Well, the Dow 30 is also part of the S&P 500. And this is the Dow Jones Transport, 20 companies in this index. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Here we are now. Yeah, this is part of the S&P 500, but it's not the best performer. It's not near all-time highs. And here's the Dow Jones Utility, 15 companies, also part of the S&P 500. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Big trading range this year. And I'm going to include another index, the Russell 2000. It's not part of the S&P 500, smaller cap companies. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. So overall, we see the top best indexes up here, these top three. But I want to have the opportunity, and we do, if you choose to take it, to perform better than the S&P 500. Again, the S&P 500 has several stock indexes. I showed you all those over there. So let's go down to look at the 11 stock sectors. Let it load up momentarily. And the way I have them organized is the largest weighted average of the indexes, the stock sectors in the S&P 500. Again, 5-year chart. Each candlestick's a week. Technology, very similar to the NASDAQ 100. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. Outstanding, bullish. Healthcare. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high, making an all-time new high. It's performing better than the stock indexes, the all-time high this week. Healthcare, XLV. Nice. Next, financials. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Very close to the high now. Look at the current candle for this week. Small little red candle, small little trading range. Financials. Might be a dodgy, might be a reversal. See what happens. Consumer discretionary. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. Here we are right now. Yeah. It's not performing the best. Better ones than this. Communication services, XLC. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. Outstanding, all-time new high for the 5 years. And look at that, very close to testing it again. Nice. We're performing better than several of the indexes. And the industrial, XLI. Here's a low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. Very close to retesting again. Performing better than the indexes. And consumer staples, XLP, low for the past 5 years. Look at this all-time new high this week, breaking all-time new highs. So we already identified 2 sectors making all-time new highs this week. Outstanding. Energy, XLE, here's a low for the past 5 years. Let me update that. Yeah. So notice this, the low for the past 5 years, the high for the past 5 years. Big sell-off since the high of this year. This was a swing low. We broke it. Went up on weakness. Yep. So trade opportunity is if it breaks below this green candle during this candle, one can look for trading bearish. It's a trade out there for trading bearish because it already broke below this key swing low and failed to take out that swing high. So high probability is the momentum is going to continue going lower. But I'll discuss that further on my Patreon account to my advanced subscribers so they can see the setup. Next, utilities XLU. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. Outstanding. That almost near the high again. And also near this midpoint right here. Real estate, XLRE. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Which is interesting. Look at this. Here's the low for last year. Here's the low for this year. And we're almost making new highs again this year. Let me double check. I think we might have just, no, we're very close to making new highs this year again. Nice. And materials, XLB. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Currently trending up. So seeing all this from the equity indexes to the stock sectors, we identified several sectors that are performing better than all the stock indexes. The opportunities to invest and have better profits, better gains, better winners than single stocks that have higher risk, better than performing than mutual funds, MF mutual funds. Yeah, a lot of choices. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.